How's it going, guys? This is Jordan here, and I'm going to give you guys a disc golf course review of Jesse James Park in Kearney, Missouri. Jesse James has 18 holes and it has a par of 56. Hole 1 is a par 3 at 270 feet and it is completely wide open for anyone to play. Hole number 2 is just a tad longer at 300 feet and is also a par 3 and just a little elevation. And all you have to do is just throw it right over the hill. Hole number 3 is just a little bit tougher than 1 and 2. It has a narrow gap you have to hit around 200 feet and then it's a dog right to the basket. This is also a par 3. Hole number 4 is also a par 3 and it's actually 234 feet. This hole is also a heavily wooded hole and it's also a dog right. A little trickier than most of the holes already. But it's a nice, easy forehand or any type of shot. Hole number 5 is heavily wooded at 222 feet and is also a par 3, which are most of the holes here. And it's a dog left right after this opening and it's just straight to the basket. If you happen to land in the woods, it's going to be a tough shot to get out of. Hole number 6 is 215 feet and is also just a tad tricky with trees in the way and heavily forested. This hole is also a dog right, so it's successful with using a forehand. Hole number 7 is a straight shot, but it's also just a little tricky because it's a tough tunnel right to the basket. Most shots that work on this hole is pretty much just controlled shots going straight to the basket. And if you try to spike hyzer this basket, there's a slight chance you might not get closer and you might have a tree blocking your way. Hence the row of trees to your right of the basket. Hole number 8 is by far my favorite hole to play. It is a water hazard and has 2 ponds side by side, narrow with a path into the basket. I don't know if that made any sense, but you can see it in the video. Right now there's not any water in it, but hopefully in a couple of years the ponds will fill up. Hole number 9 is one of the shortest holes on the course. It is also the narrowest hole with having woods on both sides and behind the basket. It's also par 3, but easily controlled shot can easily birdie it. After hole 9, one of the simplest holes, comes the most difficult hole on the course in my eyes. It is a dog right going into a dog left, and it's also an elevated hole. And it's also the first par 4 on the course. Right now it is at 384 feet, but that is going the way. If you can tomahawk it, you might be able to get it to the basket, but you have to also be able to throw it a long ways. It's also one of the tough. It is by far the most hated hole that I've ever played. Hole number 11 is fairly simple. It is a easy controlled puttered shot. It is also one of the shortest holes on the course at 186 feet. If you can control a nice putter shot, you can easily par it. You also have out of bounds by the carts, the walking path on both sides. So it's kind of, if you want to play by the rules, it's a tough, kind of hazardous shot. But if you just play for fun, it's an easy, close, aceable hole. Hole number 12 is also a fairly simple hole, but you also have out of bounds on both left and right of the basket, and pretty much the whole fairway. If you play by the rules, it's going to be a little tough, but if you're just having fun, it's a nice, easy hole to get your distance. Hole number 12 is 246 feet, and it's fairly simple, of course. If you're throwing any, you might be able to lose the disc to the woods to the left or to the right, but it's fairly open to the left of the basket. Hole number 13 is the shortest hole on the course. It's at 165 feet, but it's also challenging because you have a wall of trees blocking your path. It's also a putter shot for me, but it's also kind of difficult being there's narrow gaps between the trees where you could hit, but also challenging because it's guarded by woods. Hole number 14 is a little challenging, but it's only challenging because it's elevated. It is 312 feet and just elevated with a light pole, actually a power pole, in just the middle of the hole. You also got woods to the left, to the right of the basket, and also the trail where people walk to the left of the basket. It's a fairly difficult hole if you can't throw it far, but it's also a nice, challenging hole for anybody. Hole 15 is a straight shot. It is 239 feet, and of course, it is has its tough spots. To the right of the fairway, you've got high grass, a bunch of jagged rocks, and also a little creek. To the right of it, or to the left of it, you have the walking path from 14, and also you're going to see the path on hole 16, 17, and 18. Just behind the basket is also woods and also a river. So you just need to find a controlled shot and you should be perfect. Hole number 16 is probably my second favorite hole on this course. It is 269 feet and it is just pretty much open. You got the walking path to the right of the basket, but you also have a wide open field to the left. The basket is also on a island like hole number 1, and it's easily parable if you can drive a controlled shot next to, or get it even close to the island. Hole number 17 is by far the farthest hole on the course at 574 feet, and it's also the second par 4. You got a heavily wooded on the left, and also the walking path on the right, also with some woods. So if you could bomb with a nice S-curve shot, you should be able to birdie it or par or even birdie it. Fairly simple. Just get it down the fairway and get it close to the basket and you should be good. last hole, hole number 18, is 362 feet. And it's also guarded by out of bounds with the walking path to the right. And also a parking lot on the left. The parking lot usually doesn't get full unless there's soccer games going on the back fields. You also have the woods on the right besides the walking path. But it's also a straight shot. All you really need to do is you can probably throw an anti-hyzer. I usually just throw a controlled shot right down the fairway. And it gives me an easy up shot. If you make par, birdies will come. Thank you guys for watching, and just background check for me. I've been playing disc golf for 2.5 years right now, and for this video I used a GoPro, which that's going to change from